Well, good morning and welcome back to the channel. It's episode 2. We're in London on day 2. If you watched day 1, you'll realize that I was complaining about the weather a lot because, well, not complaining. I love sunshine, but it was hot, really hot. And I thought, so today, you know what? I'll get out early, go out, check things out quickly, where we can enjoy the cool of the day. Well, yeah, it's already hot. I'm already sweating, as you can probably tell by my shirt. But anyways, so we got a lot of places to go see today, a lot of things to check out. One really weird place, but kind of cool. Some people will like it. Some people are gonna absolutely hate it. And then a place that I've wanted to go to since I was literally a child and never went to. And it's kind of a little bit mythical to me, so we're gonna go see that. But we're gonna start out by talking about probably one of the biggest attractions in London. Yeah, the London Eye. It's huge. It's about 1,400 feet in diameter. It was built in 1999 for the millennium. Which it did actually start operating at the turn of the millennium, but unfortunately people weren't allowed on it until March because it actually wasn't finished. It was supposed to be just a temporary structure, but after a couple million people went and visited it, they decided, you know what, maybe we should keep this. I think somebody looked at the amount of money that it was generating and said, hey, you know what, this is an earner, let's keep it. So the first place we're going to today, again, like I said, it's one of those things that you're either gonna love it or hate it, but the reason I want to check it out is because it was started by one of my favorite artists of all time, Banksy. So this next place is, well, not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but it's very unique because in 2008, Banksy, yeah, that Banksy, decided he wanted to take a dark, broken down part of the city and turn it into something beautiful, add a spice of color, shall we say. The exhibit was so popular, so busy, that the city decided to keep it. In fact, they installed lighting to light it all up. And now, it's the only place in London where you can do graffiti legally. Now, I'm not a huge fan of actually tagging, but graffiti art I love, and there are some pretty good artists down here. I was actually down here last night, scoping the place out before I came down today, and the Princess Beach, I was watching the guy paint that. It was pretty incredible to watch. So, yeah, Banksy, always bringing color to the world. On our way to our next stop, kind of stumbled across this place. Now, it may not look like much to you, but it's actually one of the most historical and revered theaters here in London. It's the Old Vic. First built in 1818, and it is the only Shakespearean theater left. Seats about 1,000 people. It's gone through tumultuous times in its history, from bankruptcy to fires that killed a bunch of people. But it still stands today, and most of your favorite celebrities have popped their cherry on the theater stage right here. And for a theater nerd like me, it's pretty cool. We made it finally across town to our next place. This is a really old market, and when I say old, I mean really old, like over 1,000 years old. Being that it sits this close to the Thames, it makes sense. But I'm not here to tell you facts about this place. I'm here to check it out. Supposedly some pretty amazing food, produce here. And there are a lot of people, and they are sitting everywhere eating and enjoying the amazing food that comes out of this place. So let's go see. Originally, Borough Market was exclusive to restaurants, grocery stores in London as a supplier, but ever since it opened for the public, it has been busy. A lot more food stalls, a lot more people selling food, and it has been popular, to say the least. Like, yeah.
Chocolate.
thought it was about time I talked a little bit about the topic of today. It's kind of got two parts to it. The first part is history as a whole. We all have history, personal history, country's history, cultural history, and they're all good things that we can learn from. For me, over the last, 9.5 years, I've done a lot of research and looking into my history, my past, things I've done right, things I've done wrong, mistakes I've made, things I want to make sure I don't ever do again. I actually have a friend, she wears a particular piece of jewelry, and she wears it strictly so that she never forgets a certain point in her life. A reminder, you could say, every single day when she puts it on, to make sure that she doesn't make that mistake. And looking back on our own personal histories is always a good thing. However, you just can't dwell on it. The past is indeed the past, and at a certain point you got to put it to rest, because dwelling on your past for too long, that's a rabbit hole you can go down and stay down for a long time. Finally made it to Leicester Square. Really old square. First built in 1670. It's gone through a ton of different renovations since then. The biggest one was a multi-million pound one right before the Olympics. But why I'm here? There's some kind of unique statues here that are really old, and some that are quite new. So let's go see if we can find some. So we left Leicester Square and I'm heading to the next destination, and I seem to have found Chinatown. So I'm gonna wander around here for a minute before we head there. Was a nice side adventure. Didn't expect to see any of that. So now we're heading to, I don't want to be disappointed, a place I've been thinking about since I was a kid. It's a pretty old store, but should be pretty fun. Another really big important part of cultural history as a whole are statues and monuments. Now, there seems to be this big growing trend lately where anything that's kind of dark or maybe something in our history that we're not proud of, we choose to tear it down. And I think that couldn't be more wrong. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand where the sentiment's coming from, I understand what people are trying to do and what they're trying to say. But on the same token, statues don't always need to stand for things we're proud of, things we want to see in our future. Statues can also stand for teaching the next generations of things we're not proud of, eras where we made a lot of mistakes. If we tear down all those statues, get rid of all those statues, there's nothing out there for them to learn that from. So instead of tearing them down, tearing history down, how about leave it up and put a plaque on it, letting people know why we don't like that era or that person, what the reasoning was, and how dark a time it was for us. We're not perfect. There's no point in tearing things down and trying to make us look like our history is perfect. The next generations need to learn from somewhere. When I was growing up as a kid, this next store was kind of a magical place that I never got to go to, always wanted to, especially around Christmas time. It's England's oldest toy store. It was established in 1760. It's 7 stories of toys, and over 5 million people a year visit it. As I said, I always wanted to go there as a kid and never got the opportunity. But as an adult, I'm gonna go be a big kid. We made it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hamley's. Well, that was Hamley's. If I was a kid, I would admit that I would still be pretty darn excited in there. One complaint, Hamley's, you really need to put in air conditioning. That amount of people in that smaller building, it was hot. Everybody in there was sweating, even the kids. But my God, can you imagine what that would be like at Christmas time as a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old? Mayhem. Well, that and parents hopefully with a very, very big credit card, because the prices in there are pretty much up there. Did it disappoint? Not really. But definitely didn't meet my expectations, which, if you watched the last video, that's my bad. Okay, so we got one more stop today. I'm not entirely sure if I'm even going to be allowed to film there. I've heard mixed opinions from people. Some people say, yeah, it's no problem, they don't mind. And other people said, absolutely not, you're never going to get a camera in there. So we're going to go find out. So this could either be the end of the video or we could be doing something else. But we'll find out, I don't know, as long as it takes me to get there, I guess. few facts about the next place we're going to. It sits on a 5-acre plot right in the heart of London. It is the United Kingdom's largest retail store. I'm going to check this, but I believe it was built in 1849. At one point in time, it completely burnt to the ground. And even though it was completely destroyed, they were able to get all of their Christmas deliveries out, which kind of cemented it as this can get you anything, anytime kind of place. And in Christmas, you can see on average about 300,000 people passing through its doors each day, which is mind-boggling to say the least. And there's one more fact I wanted to talk to you about, and I can't remember it, so I'm going to look it up. On November 16th, 1898, Harrods was the first store to introduce an escalator, and people were so terrified of it that they actually had waiters standing at the top of the escalator with brandy to settle people's nerves, if you can believe that. But let's go see if we can actually get a camera in there and show you around. Well, we've made it to Harrods. Now the true test is, they can actually let me shoot in there. Only one way to find out, I guess. Okay, this place is absolutely mind-boggling. It is bright, it's dark, it's glittery, it's packed. And pretty much anything you could ever want is pretty much here. It's insane. Okay, this part's for my mom. Here you go, Mom. Sorry, Dad. Well, that was a quick run through Harrods. Yeah, wasn't in there long. They weren't really upset with me using my camera in there, but there were a couple of people at the store counters that were like, yeah, they might come and ask you not to do that. So, but they didn't. So I kept filming for a bit, but I'm exhausted. It's been a very, very long day. So I'm gonna head back to the hotel and crash. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next episode.